goal for Guinea against Mali, which has given them a half-time lead, could be enough to force an early exit for Nigeria.
Again, Paul, I look at the Nigerian setup and you look at Okpotu. Anthony Okpotu at Lobby Stars in Nigeria before becoming the goal king. He was playing the centre forward role together with Kingsley Edo. And twice they've been partnered in this competition and they have not produced any goal. And I get worried with that. But I don't know how Salisu is going to get things sorted out between Okpotu and, of course, what he expects to have him done here. So Kingsley Edo probably will be the next option, who is on the bench. But again, the two centre forwards are the most lethal centre forwards in Nigerian league.
There's been an awful lot of changing and chopping of Nigeria's team selection, much more cohesive by Ghana. Ghana qualifying before this final group game, as a reminder, after the victories over Guinea and Mali. 3 straight wins in total. Looks like Ghana are making a change here at half-time. And the number 17, Patrick Razak, is being introduced. So it's a 10-man huddle at this moment. Frimpong wearing the captain's armband after the early exit from this game of Isaac Tuam. That's going to be a worry for Ghana in the run-up to the semi-final, losing their regular captain, but they go on without him for the moment. And amid some confusion, they have not actually made that change. So Patrick is still on the touchline here.
I'm trying to find out what Coach Maxwell Konedo is trying to do with the rotation.
Good question, because they've started with the 10 players, outfield players who finished that first half, and now, what, 17, 18 minutes after the end of the first half, they're making that change.
Again, Ampia, the left full back, is making way now for Patrick Razak. So what's going to happen is now you're going to have Amos Frimpong drifting to the left back position. He's been playing that with Kumasi Asante Kotoko and sometimes drift to the centre back row. So Amos is quite familiar with those positions.
So Frimpong across to the left side, and in that space that's been left over on the far side, his former position, now Nigeria hope to make a bit of progress. It's snuffed out by Adams Ahmed. Ahmed was the player who came on for Tuam in the first half, so they used 2 of the 3 changes now, and moving well with Odo. That's a great ball in, and very nearly a score with his first touch for Patrick. Very, very nearly indeed. Was there a penalty?
Yeah. Patrick went in heavily, the keeper, and Zenwa came in, pounced on him, and a bit of a hesitation though, but the referee finally giving it to Ghana.
Nigeria protesting. We need to let's look first at the incident before we try to give certainty on whether it is a penalty. There's contact with the goalkeeper, definitely.
No doubt. No doubt. Came out with his thoughts up. The goalkeeper is Zenwa. Look at that.
That is reckless and endangering an opponent. There's been a lot of that recently.
He could be given a card. Could be a red card for that.
So, 1 or 2 decisions for this referee from Côte d'Ivoire to make at this moment. First, is it a penalty? We think it should be.
Yes. And second, is a bookable offence. So he's got to make his mind. Well, I was a bit worried. He never pointed to the spot when the incident happened.
I haven't seen him point to the spot even now, I have to say that. So we're still awaiting confirmation, and there's a bit of confusion on the touchlines also.
But if you look at the run again of Patrick Razak and the incident, it shouldn't be a call that should be difficult for a referee to make here. Look at that.
The only possibility is he was slightly unsighted by a Koro who was covering. That's probably a mitigating circumstance for the referee, but it looks as though
he never gave.
He hasn't given it. I never saw him point to the spot, I have to say. There's widespread disbelief all around us. People are looking at each other going, how is that not a penalty? Or indeed worse sanction for Nigeria's goalkeeper.
Can't believe this. Paul, I can't. Well, maybe the takeout committee needs to explain this.
Certainly a huge let-off for Nigeria. So that sequence of events, which started with the very belated substitution, it could have been made during half-time, but instead this fellow came on after, what, about a minute of play in the second half. And Ghana have reshaped their back four. They've put Adams out to right back in this area there. That's him on it now. A little bit of backup provided by Patrick, who at least cleared his lines. Would have been quite a story of a successful substitution, wouldn't it, if he'd either scored or won a penalty, as we thought he should have.
Well, again, the thing is, Paul, how isn't that a penalty? He beat my imagination. And how come he never saw the goalkeeper when he starts out? When Patrick was clearly in a goal line position. I'm particularly surprised about the decision anyway.
You're not the only one. There's about 15,000 Ghana supporters all around us who agree with you. He's been brave, Adelia, and he's got his head on that for Nigeria as well, but bravery alone is not going to be enough to get them the result they need. And running out of ideas going forward. And truthfully, that's been the story of this game for Nigeria from about the 20-minute mark. Surely they know the urgency of their situation. Tentative and half-hearted again. A side that's not scored a goal in the tournament yet. Getting late now, Rabiu Ali this time. Ado was forced into a couple of saves early on, admittedly. But Nigeria have rather lost their way again tonight.
Well, I was just having a chat with a member of the WAFU technical committee looking at the decision by the referee, and he trying to explain to me the assistant referee on the far side never moved to make an indication to the referee whether he should take a penalty or the way round. Now, the referee also delayed in calling for that, and so the two of them were in a confused state of mind, and so they had to let go of the decision.
That's very interesting, and sometimes assistants do say, look, ref, I'm going to leave that to you. It's your call. Some would say that's abdicating responsibility. Some would say it's honest. If they don't know, they're better not to make a judgment.
Okay, so that's their discretion then.
I'll tell you one thing, if it was the final between these two, there'd have been a lot more hoo-ha about it.
I tell you, there will be a lot of pushing and shoving on the referee for him to take a decision, honestly, Paul.
Adelia looking as though he's been through the wars in this game, and he has. His spirit has not flagged, but Nigeria need more in this area of the field. Ali, Moses, space opened up for him. Well, that was zinging along a bit more, wasn't it? But Ado, very technically sound goalkeeping there.
Yeah, he's been pretty much resolute and confident in the post there for Ghana. The opposite number two, Ezenwa, has been same, but goalkeepers are doing brilliant work.
On by Safa. Kobina pressing on. Early on, Nigeria played nicely through the middle third of the field, and they certainly got their two main strikers running against the centre-backs of Ghana, but the pace of the game has dropped, and the Ghana centre-backs really, as there, have had this in their pocket, and they've just worked out the opposition very well. Maybe now something for Nigeria. They have scored! At last it's a breakthrough for Okpotu, and what could it mean for Nigeria in this tournament?
It meant a lot for Nigeria, and it meant a lot for Kotu, and it meant a lot for the supporters of Nigeria. The stadium is dead silent. Nigeria eventually get to punish Ghana. A bit of sloppiness in defense, and Kotu, he's been craving for a goal in this competition, and finally it comes off in a match against Ghana.
Atinga and Safu were looking so comfortable, but Atinga allowed his man to get goal side of him. Potu edging around the side of him here. The ball threatened to run away from him. The goalkeeper went down a bit too quickly perhaps, and he fires it into the roof of the net to give Nigeria the lead.
A good one there for Nigeria. At least they've been looking for this opportunity, but I'm happy for Kotu. At least he's been able to silence his critics. Goal king in Nigeria, and now he's gotten a goal here in Ghana at last.
What a lift for him, his team and his country.
First time Ghana conceded in open play in this competition. They should be worried about it then. Well, a lot of discussion will happen on the other side as to whether the decision by the referee not to give a penalty was correct or other way, but Nigeria taking advantage of a sloppiness in Ghana's defense. Atinga just failing to get the ball away from Kotu, and Kotu showed a lot of strength in there.
Fresh zip in the legs now for Ghana as well as Ali goes for it.
But again, it was a good pass to Kotu, leading to the goal.
So Nigeria with belief refreshed here. Decisions mean so much, big decisions, big moments in games like this with so much on the line. The decision not to give a penalty at one end, not to sanction the goalkeeper, and Nigeria taking their chance when it came. At last. Okoro. Looks like the pressure's been released suddenly for Nigeria. They're starting to move like we expected they would be in this tournament.
And then to get the second.
And that's a superlative hit. And now they've got clear space. Moses has done it.
Did you see the movement? Did you see the movement? Splendid play, Nigeria. Ghana simply disappointed. And Nigeria will come in with lots and lots and lots of happiness with this goal.
The game has turned on its head inside 5 minutes early in this second half. And Moses just threads it through between the centre-back and the full-back. I'm not sure Ado can see it until it's past him. He almost was caught on the wrong foot, the goalkeeper, as they run away to celebrate. And all the pressure lifted off these Nigerian players' shoulders now.
2 goals in 3 minutes, and Nigeria was sick to qualify, perhaps with the goals coming in. The build-up to the goal was simply fantastic, Paul.
They just started to move in a completely different fashion, didn't they, once they got their nose in front. Ghana have let it slip in a big way, and now it's looking a very tall order to rescue anything out of this. It won't make any difference, just to remind everybody, they're going through anyway, but a win here renders events elsewhere meaningless. If Nigeria win here, they are through. And they are winning.
And they have 2 goals, Paul. They're winning in good fashion. And that's what the fans are looking for. But you know, my worry for Ghanaians will be the rivalry between Ghana and Nigeria. Nigeria will say, okay, you went through, but we beat you to go through as well.
Well, might be Nigeria at the end of this end. And we'll see you lot in the final, and then we'll sort it all out.
That is what they're looking for now.
First, Nigeria have got to keep Ghana out and protect this lead, this precious lead. Big decision by the referee, such a huge turning point in this game. Okpoto. Let's remember as well, then, another thing, you know, that they haven't balanced themselves, Ghana, in this second half. His men have taken advantage of that, but not only did they make a change, they moved 2 or 3 other players around to accommodate the change they made.
But I think that one, we have to look at the injury situation to Ghana. Isaac Chum, who has been very much impressive in midfield with a lot of attacking-minded roles, he's out. Now Ghana making some switch of play at the full-back position. Now Ampia out. Amos Frimpong moves to the left-back position.
So that's 2 changes in 1, which you can argue, is that necessary?
And then you have a centre-back playing as a right full-back, and so it's flat-footed for Ghana. They can't make any attacking play, and that's the reason Nigerians are exploiting the move.
Happy days for the holiday makers now. I don't think they can quite believe what they're seeing.
Well, they need to qualify, actually, and so if they qualify with Ghana in the group, obviously it should be a happy moment. And another point of interest will be this one. Look at it. Leading to the goal. Energy. Oh, that's wonderful there. And Joseph Aldo, after doing so well in the first half, should be disappointed.
Look what it meant for him. As the captain, of course, the leader, Ezenwa.
And just I was talking about Energy not exerting a lot of influence in the game in the first half. He comes out to surprise me with that goal. Good for him.
Another worrying theme of the night from Ghana's point of view, the injuries. Waja off on a stretcher just now. Clearly, Tuam, the captain, has got an ankle problem. Went off early in the game, and Pia also off. And he's not looked comfortable in that position there, has he, Adams, since he switched to right back. The accomplished Frimpong moved across to left back.
Well, I don't remember the last time Ahmed Adams played as a right back for Kumasi Asante Kotoko in the Ghana lead. Until there you have it, current situation. Ghana with 6 points, Nigeria with 5. It's looking pretty for the Nigerians anyway. Well, Mali obviously not making it count.
He looks out for the count in this game, doesn't he? A couple of days to get the injured players ready again. The next change is going to be made, and hopefully for Ghana it won't take as long as the previous one. And this to be the number 11, Kevin Ando.
Oh, the Wow Stars player loves to move on the wide areas in the attacking role. Would love to come in to help the Ghanaians, and Waja disappointed. But not seen much with Patrick Razak with his rounds on the flank since he coming on. His first attempt perhaps was the ball which he collided with the goalkeeper, Ezenwa. Penalty not given to him, and Saints is be silent.
Under 30 minutes for Nigeria now to see this through, and instead of going home in the morning, to make a plan for the semi-final.
I think it's going to be a good preparation for them and their supporters and those watching this WAFU competition in Nigeria on NTA. They should be happy at least what they're seeing. They're getting a better beating of Ghana. 2-0 up, and Nigeria, wow, good way to qualify.
Ezenwa long. They've really exploited that area second half in that right back channel.
Very uncomfortable position there for Ahmed Adams. He's a defensive-minded player because he's always loved to play the centre half. In Kumasi Asante Kotoko, he does that a lot.
Ghana have just become misshapen here. Ando had a dart to try and win it back. But Nigeria keeping possession so much better than they did for a large spell up to the time the ball went in the net. And once the ball goes in the net, all the problems go away.
Yep. Maybe you tried to get Coach Salisu Yusuf a bit medicated with the changes he made. You talked about it. You were worried about the Nigerian changes, but again, it's proving to be effective.
to Ando. Corey did well. A little bit impetuous, perhaps, by Lamotte.
What do you think that if the Nigerians are done, they still have Edo Kisley in there, Ashadi, Destiny Abanum is also around. Matthias Samuel can also come in, and Gabriel Kechuku can also pull a surprise. So Nigeria got a lot of players who can also come in and change the face of the game. And Ghana really will be looking very, very disappointed to go down heavily against Nigeria this evening.
And they've used all their changes now, Ghana, remember. Aremu. Has to be another free kick here. Won by John. There again, Adams diving in. It's a ball he cannot win. And in front of him, you know, another player who's new to it, Patrick Razak. So something has really come apart here for Ghana.
Worrying situation for Maxwell Konedo, because then he was thinking he was going to get Patrick Razak to come in, add some flair on the wing play and get the ball through the centre forwards.
The man up there at the moment is Ado. Seen off by Adelier. Ado once more. Steered out to Frimpong. He was looking for Ando. Frimpong now with a bit of room to go forward himself. He's overplayed that slightly. And he felt that challenge, and he's a big, strong boy, Eze, isn't he? And he wasn't holding back then.
Yeah, and Frimpong again has been a bit... That obviously should be a yellow card offence, though. Look at it. Well, it should be, no doubt.
I have to agree with you about that. He left a bit on him, as they say. Frimpong certainly felt it. I just felt, I'm not exonerating the challenge because I agree with you about the challenge, but Frimpong did let the ball run away from him, and then he just hesitated ever so slightly before he went for it. And Eze certainly wasn't stopping, but no, two-footed. And again, I have to say, I think he's missed that, I'm afraid, the referee.
Again, it would be a disappointment if Frimpong is out of the game. Ghana exhausting their changes already.
Well, this does look troubling indeed.
Well, about 24 minutes left. Means you're going to play a chunk of the time with 10 men.
Listen, Ben, I don't even think it's about tonight. It's about the semi-final now. Hopefully he'll get off that stretcher and get up and play on. Ghana play on without him. Ando. Doing it all by himself, with Kobina looking at him saying, give me the ball, let me have a go. They've just completely lost their way here.
And watch Ahmed Adam's position. His move drifted back to left back position. I think that is there. Tells you the mischief you talked about the Ghana team.
It's amazing how a game can just slide away from a team so quickly, isn't it? And it's going to leave a lot of doubt for the next day or two now. Things were on a high in the camp before this. Indeed, before what? Before the 50th minute of this game. But this does not look good either, I'm afraid, for Ghana fans, for Frimpong.
But the head of delegation for Nigeria there, Ibrahim Gasol, very much excited. I actually spoke to him before the game, and he was very confident Nigeria are going to beat Ghana today and qualify. He tells me we're going to win the game, and now they lead by 2-0.
And now Ghana are down to 10 men.
Looking good at all for Amos Frimpong. He's really been lacking out the place in tonight's game. Yeah, the ball did cross the line. I think the Black Stars have been flat-footed in defense. They haven't really been that adventurous. The midfield row has been very neutralized by Nigeria. I did was a bit complaining about Aremu, Rabiu Ali, repeated Moses' energy, but they have come into the game, put a lot of pressure on the misshaped Ghanaian defense, and they have 2 goals to show for it.
Eze again. It does appear as though Ghana are going to have to play out the remainder of this game with only 10 men.
Well, that means Nigeria can take full advantage and get more goals. You need to, won't you?
One more, I think, would satisfy their requirement. It would certainly end the argument at 3. It's the 3 points that count here the most for Nigeria. He's become a little bit more frustrated as the half has gone along, and I thought his elbow may have caught his man then, and again it was just a case, I'm afraid, for Adams Ahmed just getting there slightly too late.
Yep. Maxwell Konedu, really, he'll be worried with the setup of his side tonight's game against Nigeria. But for Salisu, one thing I'm looking forward to him, Paul, doing, he's looking at the CHAN competition in Kenya. And he wants to take advantage of this and try the players he has at his disposal. If he wins this game, it gives him that impression that Nigeria are good to go at the CHAN competition. If he loses, it makes it a bad team.
Results dictate the fate of managers. So was that a foul throw by Ando? Nigeria certainly thought it was. Here goes Kobina, but it's only a little glimpse of what he's about. Ghana need to get on with it. And still concerned for the man the stricken man on the stretcher just beside where the throw-in came from. That's better from Ando. Deflection on it, keeps it alive. And it's fizzed over the top of the crossbar. Ando went for it. Deflection on it means a corner. As Adelie again puts everything he's got into it.
Well, he has to throw his body in to block the ball there, but Kevin Ando did a good job on the wing side. But again, Nigeria would have to throw in everybody into defending this ball.
It's taken by Kobina. Goalkeeper claims it brilliantly.
Defended with your lives, Nigeria. Dele and of course Steven Eze.
Most certainly. Adams forward. Adam. Kobina. Outcrowded in the middle of the park. Steered out to Moses. Score of the second goal, Moses. And again it's hesitant. Just a little hesitant by Ado. Read it right in the end, I guess. Full of running now, the front end of this Nigeria side. Ali, Moses and Okpoto. Confidence high.
Amos Frimpong is back on, but still limping. It doesn't look good for him. I don't know how much time he's got long to stay in the game.
Well, if they feel they can muster the effort, I do think it's still worth it for Ghana, not just for questions of pride. Wanted to go through the tournament unbeaten if they could do that, of course. But if they can get one and start to make the doubts creep in again for Nigeria, just remaining that possibility they could get a second and effectively then knock Nigeria out of the tournament. Should the game continue in the other game in this group with a 1-0 scoreline, or indeed either way if Mali were to win it. You know, that's a price worth going for if you're Ghana. No problems for the keeper, Nzenwa.
Yeah, it's been a dull game for Ghana from the start of the game. They haven't really been that adventurous. Nigeria kept probing in the first 18 minutes, and since then they have been a better side.
Certainly stop-start tonight from Ghana. Does make a big difference, I do believe, you know, when you have qualified before going into a game like this. But the The question is, what is the knock-on effect of the injuries and the fact they perhaps sustain a defeat tonight?
Remo doing a good job, but in midfield for Nigeria, Adeleye has a lot of confident play in the game. But Steven Eze back in control, Nigeria. It's just almost everywhere, the green shirts.
Side transformed. That's the confidence that goals bring. Look at this fellow here, Moses, great example of it. Taking people on, moving freely. That lead weight he was carrying around on his shoulders, no more. He picked out a man with a great little ball then. And Ali, so confident as well. Back to Ali. And the Nigeria crowd now beginning to applaud their team. Outnumbered as though they are here. Forward by Kabina, looking for Ado. A lovely take, wasn't it? But he's outcrowded. 4 against 1, really.
It wasn't actually the Nigerian fans who were applauding the Nigerian play. It was all the Ghanaians who were in the stadium. They just loved the Nigerian play. They have been excited about it. They feel that the Nigerians have really exposed the Ghanaians, especially with their play. And now they're beginning to think, well, the offside flag up against Friday was in that position. It could be a worrying point for Ghana, especially if they're thinking of winning the competition. They are defending champions, Ghana.
Mighty big tick against the names of all these Nigeria players if they can beat the host nation at this stage of the tournament. Ali to Okoro, nicely done. Off the barrel chest of Eze. Ali could argue perhaps, Ben, in the run-up to half-time that Ghana started to edge Nigeria back. They had more of the ball, but at this stage there's little doubt really that it is Nigeria who look pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's a case of making your tactics count here, because you have fast-paced players in picked up Moses and Energy. You have a right full back who's good, running and attacking. So why don't you get the balls to the centre forwards? Get in there, push the ball to them, and guess what? The goal's coming in from the wing play of Nigeria. And you know what? Ghana is flat-footed. The right back is a centre back, so he's playing in a very unnatural position. You come back to left full back, it's the same story.
Maybe a little break in their favour here now. That's the kind of thing we were seeing from Nigeria under the anxiety early on in this game. Patrick Razaki shifted into top gear well, didn't he? Coming up a change here for Nigeria with, under 15 minutes to play. Such a big moment, not just tonight, but in the tournament. Okpotu finally scores a goal for Nigeria, a goal which means so much potentially.
And then you have Gabriel Okechukwu also coming in. Chelsea, Nigeria have got a lot of options going forward. Very strong player, Gabriel Okechukwu. Like-for-like replacement there, Nigeria.
Not happened yet for Patrick Razak.
Patrick's not really pulling, and Patrick is not really getting it done. When Accra Hearts work in the Ghana League, he's always the big man to look out for. When you bring him on, he's always take advantage with his speed on the wings. And Coach Frank Nuttall loved to use Patrick Razak on the wings, and he's been getting the result for Hearts of Folk, producing some good assists and also scoring for the Ghanaian club.
But they've been opened up, and here's Gabriel to finish it surely. Oh, he's made a mess of it. They wanted an offside flag.
Ghana lucky. Lucky, at least Gabriel Okochukwu didn't get the angle right. He was closed down by Ahmed Adams. Look at the run.
I think Frimpon's playing him onside, actually.
Yeah.
On he went, and well, in fairness, it was a timely recovery by Adams. Just got there. I wonder if he'd have been on the field for 10 minutes, had his eye in properly, he might have absolutely snaffled that chance up.
Yeah. Other side, looking forward to getting more Nigeria.
Ghana fans have had a lot to be happy about during the course of the tournament so far. They're not giving up on their side, even at 2-0 down. But they're nearly always happy here anyway, Ben, aren't they?
Well, if the team was not making it count, they would have been worried. But Paul, on the other side of the angle that we are seeing, fans are beginning to file out of the stadium. They've seen enough of the embarrassment.
Ando from the right side. He's actually switched sides with Razak for the moment. Still Ando. Atinga. For Atinga to do here. It's 2-on-1 for Nigeria, and Atinga did what he had to do. Maybe there's more to do. Nigeria come again. They're going to get a corner. Well, I don't think he'll sleep very well tonight, because unfortunately for Atinga, who'd been doing so well in this tournament, it was that moment when Potter finally got down the side of him. One little slip by a defender, very, very costly at top level.
Well, back four of Ghana have really struggled in the second half. The centre-backs have done a good job. They've been doing overtime to keep the game or the scoreline at 2-0. There could have been more.
Now, let's see if Nigeria's corners have improved any. Not really like that. Short it goes to Gabriel. Used all his strength again.
And what is happening is that the Ghanaians have already left Patrick Razak as the man up front, and all of them back behind the halfway line and defending. Nigeria looking to get more goals, because Gabriel Okochukwu, when he gets his day, he can even score more. Remember, Moses Peter Neji is still in the game. Nigeria want to throw in another player there, so John Friday is out, and it is Samuel Matthias who may have to come in here. Matthias, another very impressive player for Nigeria, good midfielder. He combines effectively there with Rabiu Ali, so Nigeria holding to make their midfield solid and make sure at least there's a little balls to the centre forwards to work with it. Wilfred Kobna really has been chasing his shadows in the second half, hasn't really gotten his day in the game. He's been closed down beautifully there by Rabiu Ali, and Wilfred Kobna struggling.
And when he struggles, Ghana struggle generally. Gabriel is finding loads of room, and he's full of running. First touch by Matthias Samuel. Not one that will live in the memory.
Well, beginning to get worried for Maxwell Konedu with a lot of injury situations he's had. And is he going to put the entire defeat down to the injury situations? Or his team was outsmarted by Nigeria? What is going to be the excuse then, Maxwell Konedu?
It will be interesting, yes, to see how Ghana react to this. Not very many positives for this man. All his best players have underperformed tonight.
Well, it looks as though they've poured ice on them.
Certainly that ice bucket's going to come in handy if it's bumps and bruises they've got to deal with for the next 48 hours, and I think that is the case. Concern certainly for the captain, Isaac Toom. Gabriel is the player down here. Perhaps a bit of frustration from Atinga. His head just dropped a little bit when he made that mistake, when Okpoto got in behind him. It's all well and good, but being mentally tough is so important at top level. And if you do make a critical error, the very worst thing then is to compound it by making another one. You have to find a way to put it behind you.
Well, they got a little bit distracted, the Ghanaians, and that's how Okpoto had to punish them.
Cleared by Samuel Safo. It really was an echo of the theme of the first half, was it not? Because early on in the first half, that goal by Okpoto, when they got up and had physical contact with the centre-backs, they were spinning them and turning, getting in behind them, attacking the other way. Then it seemed like the centre-backs for Ghana had got their measure, just dropping off, giving them a bit of room and allowing themselves the time to see what was going to develop. But on that particular occasion, back to where we started, Okpoto got in round the side of Atinga, and the next thing was the ball was in the net.
Well, I think, Paul, what I did see that the Ghanaians flirted with the idea of allowing the Nigerians to come back in the game. And when they did come back in the game, they hurt themselves that well.
Definitely true. Poor start to the second half. Muddled thinking with that substitution at half-time, which didn't happen mysteriously until about a minute had elapsed. That's just not good enough. And it did perhaps impact on the concentration of the other Ghana players.
And so they might probably feel Tomasabe out of the game, Chum out, Ampia out. They simply were out as well, Ghana.
So some questions suddenly for Maxwell Konedu to come up with answers for. And that far stand as we look, I think that's the better, more eloquent than many words I could use for the way this party has gone flat tonight by Ghana. It's not critical to them, not critical to the tournament, but it's a testing couple of days coming up.
Well, they hope Safo will get his game. But he's not today. Nigeria have been flamboyant. And I think I need to applaud their effort. Disappointment there. Tomasabe and Ampia equally. But Abe, not worried because the team was qualified. But not playing better against Nigeria, who themselves were struggling. It's a disappointment. The rivalry between Ghana and Nigeria go way beyond this. But good choice by Salisu Yusuf, because he made sure he made changes that could affect the team's performance tonight, and it worked for them.
Frimpong moving okay, Frimpong at the moment. Remembering the rising injury toll, Frimpong was off the field for 10 minutes or thereabouts, getting some treatment. Sent long by Atinga. Dominant again in the air. Eze and Adelier, they've done exceptionally well, the Nigeria centre-backs. Aremu, Okoro. Matthias Samuel. All these changes made through the first phase by Nigeria. I suppose the positive spin on that is everybody has been involved. Everybody's had a feel of the tournament. The big question is whether they have now found a winning blend. Looks like they've got a win, a critical win in this game, but can they carry it forward? Kobina, snuffed out completely in this game. Frimpong. Bit more promising here. Razak made the run. More tremendous work by Eze. So heading into stoppage time. Surely it's already too late for Ghana, but you never know if they can score one. Not like that, but there'll be another corner. Nigeria put it where it could do no harm. Taken short and quickly. Razak. Well, he took it all on himself with, what, 5, 6, 7 targets in the box. Not a good decision, I'm afraid. The answer to your question, sir, 3 minutes, and I don't think it's going to be enough. Offside against Gabriel. Tried on the right, tried on the left, tried on the middle. Nothing has worked tonight for him, nor for Ghana. And little seen the second half of Stephen Safo. Frimpong. He does hoist it in there. And look who was waiting, Adelier. Ali worked back, he couldn't get it first time. Ghana win it back now. Twisting and turning, and it's just the wrong side of the upright. Might have even scraped the post, I don't know. Goalkeeper stayed down here, Zenwa. Hopefully this is nothing serious. It's Kevin Ando squirming his way through. It was wide of the post. Not immediately apparent why the goalkeeper's in so much trouble. The shot, he scurries after. I hope it's not his shoulder. He landed on it at a full extension here, and actually there was a deflection on it. It should be a corner if it's been seen, but the more immediate concern is the goalkeeper. He's not moving around much. Treatment to his side or hip. He clutched at it actually, didn't he? And hopefully that's not going to be a serious muscle pull, because that could be a problem, and he won't know right now, because it's only when his body starts to warm down, cool down, and he starts to seize up. Hopefully it's nothing, but it might be a concern for the next day or two for Nigeria. Moving freely again at the moment, the goalkeeper, and he dealt with that. And it's all over, and Nigeria have come to save themselves, and they've achieved it. They are still alive in the competition. They have won for the first time, and it's a huge moment. Not just Ezenwa as the captain, not just the heroic Adelier, and not just all the rest of the Nigeria squad, but all the millions watching at home will also give thanks tonight, because their hopes of becoming 2017 WAFU Cup of Nations champions are still alive. They have won when they needed it most. It was such a struggle for them, but eventually the floodgates opened, and 2 goals in 3 second-half minutes by Okpotu and Moses. And Ghana, well, they didn't need victory, but they didn't need a defeat tonight either. Ghana beaten for the first time in this tournament, the host nation, and they were way below their best. More worrying again, the injuries they sustained tonight, and hopefully they've got enough time to get some of them back in time for their semi-final. Ghana will go on, but arising from this, Nigeria it is who march on into the semi-finals with confidence renewed. What a win, and what a time to get it. Ghana 0, Nigeria 2 here in the Cape Coast Stadium. So, with the stadium rapidly emptying, it is the Nigeria supporters doing the celebrating, understandably, and only the very hardcore Ghana fans are waiting to salute their team who've underperformed here tonight. The rest of the stadium's empty already, I'm afraid. And there will be questions asked, lots of questions, about how Ghana underperformed in this game. Nigeria certainly started with an appetite and a desire that was hard to match. Hopefully Ezenya's going to be all right. Hobbling away, only a couple of days to be fit for the semi-final. They won't know their fates in terms of the fixtures until tomorrow night, when the other group is sorted out. But honour and credibility most certainly restored here by Nigeria. It had all gone so well for Ghana. 3 games in a row. Group victories over over Guinea and Mali after the preliminary victory over Gambia. Confidence was rising, not just in the team, not just in the support here, but right across this country. And I'm afraid something of a reality check for the host nation. Certainly they'll be back, and hopefully there'll be enough time to lift the belief. But it's Nigeria's night here in Cape Coast. Going to hand you down to Ben now for some post-match reaction.
Moses Peter Energy, 2 goals in the competition. Your first was against Sierra Leone, and this one against Ghana. How important is the win for Nigeria and yourself?
Well, the first thing first, I have to thank God for making us victorious, because we come out with this game with confidence to win, and we needed to qualify. So I thank God for everything, for us coming out victorious today.
Now, it was a difficult game coming to play Ghana, but again, after making the opportunity count here, what is the chance of Nigeria in the competition?
Well, to God be the glory. What our coach told us, for us to be confident, we are still building the team, and with this, so far, I'm sure that we are going to the finals.
It's the Nigerian team good for the tournament back in Kenya next year?
With this, I can tell you yes.
Thank you very much.
What a difference a result, a positive result, makes. Suddenly the world looks a lot brighter place. And instead of going home in the morning, Nigeria making their plans now for the semi-final. And of course, it restores belief in the longer-term project that Ben referred to in the interview, the pathway forward. Let's hear from the defeated coach now.
Coach Maxwell Konadu, you started the competition not going down to any side, but you did today in a very brutal way. Would you say that the defeat in the early on, the first half of the game contributed to your losing to Nigeria today?
No, it's not about the goals we conceded. It's about how fit our players were. You know, there's no time to really recover too well for this important match. But all the same, the boys managed. Some had injuries, but we managed to at least end the game. But I have to say that they've done their best. But I think today Nigeria was a better side. We all agree with that, and we can only manage the situation until the end of the game. Most of them got injured, even in the first half. But just that we didn't have the opportunity to make those changes. You know, we were forced to change Chum, who got injured, I think during warm-up, but he thought he could use it to play, but it didn't happen. But all the same, we congratulate Nigeria for the good work they did.
So to understand the point, you started this game with half-fit players.
I will not say half-fit players, but the level at which we competed in the first two games was very, very high. And today, definitely, we were not expecting that the boys can live up to that level again. But like I said, we have to just congratulate Nigeria because they demonstrated that they were really, they had a desire to win the game. So we can't take anything away from them. They did well.
Now, again, looking at Ghana progressing to the semi-final stages, Niger, Senegal, other teams that you should look out for. How do you see the team going forward? Are they winning the WAFU competition?
The next match is the most important one. We rest well and make sure that we have a very able medical team. They work on the boys thoroughly from now till Thursday. So I think on Thursday we perform much better than today.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Well, very frank, very forthright, very honest. Not hiding it. Maxwell Konadu not hiding the sense of disappointment here for Ghana, and acknowledging that it is going to be a question now of freshening up the bodies first of all, getting the injured fit if possible, and then refreshing the mindset after a substandard performance tonight from the hosts. All looks very different now than a couple of hours ago for Nigeria's coach. Let's hear from him.
Coach Salisu, what a performance it is for Nigeria. You made 6 changes. Does that mean that the team you prepared today were a bit superior than even what you expected from Ghana?
Yeah, we made changes because we rested some players the last game because we had to be circulating the players. So you see all our players, everybody start game. Every player that came will start the game. So this is good because we're trying to prepare the Chan team. We need to give everybody the opportunity to play.
You wore a very grim look at the dressing room, and you were looking to a good performance to make sure your team stays better going to the Chan. Would you then conclude and say that you have a Chan team prepared already?
Yeah, we have it's a Chan team, but we still have like 4 or 5 players that will come that are not in this group. And they are good players too, but we have to come with 18. That's why we come with 18.
A lot of people are looking up to Okpotu to perform in this competition. He got his goal against Ghana. What a way to do that.
Yeah, that was a fantastic goal. You can see the experience, the maturity, the composure there. That he waited, then he make the first attempt, and the goalkeeper go down, he pick it. So he really showed his top, but we hope you play better in the next game.
So let me just find out before you go. Does that mean Nigeria getting to the finals of the WAFU competition and picking the $100,000?
Yeah, and we need to finish with the semi-final first. We will think of the final, but we are thinking of the next opponent. We have to beat them to reach the final. So let's step by step. Let's meet them first and see what happens before we think of the cup.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the smile there, so revealing, I think. Man under pressure. Certainly bore the responsibility very, very well, but he could not find the winning blend. Could not find a way to get the ball in the net. All has changed now. Nigeria win, and they finish in second spot after all on 5 points. 2 points apiece for Mali and Guinea. But it is Ghana and Nigeria who progress to the semi-finals, and tomorrow they will find out their opposition. So, this is where we sign off from the Cape Coast Stadium. I'd like to thank you for watching with us here on Fox Sports Africa and all our affiliate channels. Ghana are still very much alive in this tournament, but Nigeria have given a fresh coat to an ancient footballing rivalry. It means so much to both nations. Nigeria, backs to the wall, have won when they absolutely had to, and they remain a threat in this tournament too. And it'll be fascinating to see how it all plays out from here. And we hope very much to have the pleasure of your company again tomorrow night for the second of these 2 final days of group action. Thanks very much for watching.